Hello there and welcome. Let's talk about something that, let's be honest, probably keeps a lot of people up at night. What actually happens if you don't file a tax return here in the UK? It's a massive question, and we're going to get you some clear answers today, all thanks to a special discussion arranged by the experts at My Tax Accountant. Yep, my tax accountant really knows their stuff when it comes to cutting through all the jargon, and that's exactly our plan today. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into a number that might just shock you. £1,600. Just let that sink in for a second. This isn't some random figure. This number is ground zero for understanding just how serious this situation can get, and fast. That's right, this could be your minimum penalty just for being 12 months late. Now you're probably thinking, how on earth does it get that high? How can it stack up so quickly? Well, you've come to the right place because we are going to break it all down for you. Okay, so here's what we've got on the agenda. We'll kick off with who needs to file and when, the basics. Then we'll dive into the penalties, the price of delay. We'll also look at what happens when HMRC starts investigating, and crucially, how to fix the situation. We'll even touch on appealing a penalty, and of course, where to get expert help. Right then, let's get into it. Section 1, the filing clock is ticking. First things first, who actually needs to file a tax return? And what are the key dates you need to know? Because, these penalties only matter if you were supposed to file in the first place. So who needs to file a self-assessment? Well, it's a pretty broad group. We're talking about self-employed folks, freelancers, basically if you're your own boss. But it's also for people earning rental income from property, investors with dividends or capital gains, and anyone earning over $100,000 a year. Oh, and if you get income from overseas, that's you too. If you're nodding along to any of these, then the next slide is absolutely crucial. Okay, let's talk deadlines for the 2024/25 tax year. Get your calendar out. First up, October 5th, 2025. That's your deadline to register for self-assessment. If you're doing a paper return, and not many do these days, it's October 31st. But the big one, the one for pretty much everyone filing online, is January 31st, 2026. That's the final deadline to get your online return in and pay your tax bill. Miss that date by even a second and, well, the penalty clock starts ticking immediately. All right, Section 2, penalties, the price of delay. So what happens the moment the clock strikes midnight on January 31st and your return isn't in? This is where things get serious and fast. These penalties are automatic, they don't wait around, and you'd be amazed how quickly they add up. So here's the timeline. Step 1, you're 1 day late. Bam! An instant £100 penalty. No questions asked. Step 2, after 3 months, it gets worse. You start getting hit with daily penalties of £10, which can add up to another £900. At 6 months late, that's another penalty, either £300 or 5% of your tax bill, whichever is higher. And then at 12 months late, you guessed it, another £300 or 5% charge. See how we got to that £1,600 minimum? It's brutal. Okay, here's a pro tip, and honestly, this catches so many people out. That initial £100 penalty, you get that even if you owe zero tax, even if HMRC actually owes you a refund. Filing the form is a legal duty totally separate from paying the tax. So even if you made no profit, you still have to file. Don't forget that. And believe it or not, that's not all. Here's where it gets really painful. Everything we just talked about, those were just the penalties for filing late. There's a whole other set of penalties for paying late. Interest starts piling on from day 1. After 30 days, you get hit with a 5% penalty on what you owe, another 5% after 6 months, and a final 5% after a year. They all stack up, turning a small bill into a massive headache. Let's put some real numbers on this. Say hello to Alex, a freelance designer in London. Alex has a tax bill of £2,000, but misses the deadline. 1 day late, that's a £100 penalty. Fast forward 3 months, the filing penalties are now £1,000, plus a late payment penalty of £100 kicks in. Alex is now looking at £1,100 in penalties. And by the 1-year mark, the filing penalties are at £1,600, the payment penalties are at £300. That's a whopping £1,900 in penalties on a £2,000 tax bill. It's almost doubled. Okay, so the money side of things is obviously pretty scary. But stay with me, because this next part is where the stakes get even higher. Failing to file isn't just about the penalties. It's like putting a giant flashing sign above your head for HMRC to come and investigate. So you're probably wondering, can it actually get any worse than thousands of pounds in penalties? Oh, yes. Yes, it can. A lot worse, in fact. This is where we leave the world of automatic fines and enter the much scarier territory of a full-blown HMRC investigation. And if you're thinking, well, how would they even find me? Think again. HMRC has this incredibly powerful computer system that's like a digital Sherlock Holmes. It pulls in data from all over the place, your bank, your employer, even sites like Airbnb or eBay. They can see property sales, client payments, you name it. The days of flying under the radar? They're pretty much over. And this is where we need to be crystal clear about two very different terms: tax avoidance versus tax evasion. Tax avoidance is legal. It's just using the rules, like saving into a pension, to lower your bill. But tax evasion, well, that's illegally hiding income or deliberately not filing your return. And that's not just a mistake, it's a criminal offense. HMRC takes that very, very seriously. And get this, normally HMRC can only look back about 4-6 years. But if they suspect deliberate tax evasion, they can go back 20 years. Just think about that for a second. 20 years. They could be asking you for tax from 2 decades ago. The risk is huge. All right, I know that was all a bit heavy. But the goal here isn't to scare you. It's to show you why it's so important to act. And here's the good news. No matter how deep a hole you feel you're in, there is always a way out. So let's talk about how to fix the situation. Here's your action plan. Seriously, if there's one thing you remember today, make it this. The worst thing you can do is nothing. It will not go away. Burying your head in the sand just makes the hole deeper. The penalties keep growing and it just gets worse. So, what's the plan? It's actually a 3-step process. Step 1, gather your documents. Get all your bank statements, invoices, and records together for the years you've missed. Step 2, file your return as soon as humanly possible. The moment it's in, the daily penalties stop. And step 3, sort out the payment. Pay what you owe, or if that's not possible, get on the phone to HMRC and ask about a time to pay arrangement. They are more helpful than you might think. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about appealing your penalty. Once you've filed, you'll get that penalty notice. But is there a way out? Well, sometimes, yes, you can appeal. But, and this is a big but, you need to have what HMRC calls a reasonable excuse. So, what exactly is a reasonable excuse? Well, we're talking about serious, unexpected stuff. A life-threatening illness for you or a close family member, the death of a partner, a sudden hospital stay, maybe even technical issues with HMRC's website when you were trying to file. What doesn't count? Things like I forgot, I was too busy, or I didn't know I had to. Unfortunately, those just won't fly. Right, our final section, getting expert help. Look, we've laid out a path forward, but let's be real, doing all of this on your own, especially if you're a few years behind, can feel overwhelming. And that's where getting an expert on your side is an absolute game changer. So, are you feeling a bit overwhelmed by all this? That's completely understandable. But please know, you don't have to handle this alone. You're not the first person to be in this spot, and trying to untangle it all by yourself is a huge source of stress. And that's exactly why professionals like my tax accountant are there to help. They can deal with HMRC for you, make sure everything is calculated correctly, help with appeals, basically take that massive weight off your shoulders. So if you're in a tough spot or just need some advice, get in touch with them. Their number is 0208-570-8531, or you can email them at info@mytaxaccountant.co.uk. And of course, for more helpful discussions just like this one, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for joining me.